Okay, Monday Night Raw for May 2nd, 2022. Now, it looks like the go-home show for WrestleMania Backlash was actually pretty decent tonight. It was actually fun to watch, to be honest, except, the 24/7 segments and what's so not. We just gonna go ahead and get into it because I actually have a lot to do today. The only thing Raw announced it or advertised tonight was the Bloodline, and of course the Bloodline opens the show. They heads to the ring. Now before everybody can get on with their promo, Paul Heyman does his introduction. Then Roman Reigns said, "North Carolina, acknowledge me," and he sits there grinning with his chin, with his hands on his chin, and he just grinning. And out of nowhere, the Usos are sudden attack behind from RK Bro. They just turned them around. They came out of nowhere and hit the RKO. Matt Riddle hitting the RKO on Jimmy and Jay, and Randy hitting the RKO on Jay. Then they just in the ring with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns looking puzzled as they surrounded him, and then Drew shows up as they points at the entrance ramp. He comes up, points his sword, Angela, at Roman Reigns before getting in the ring. And then RK Bro leads Roman to McIntyre, who drops his swords on the outside before he and Roman gets in the ring face to face. Now Roman tries to go for a hook on Drew, but Drew counters it and they start going at it. For a moment, Roman Reigns had the upper hand. Drew eventually gets him back in the corner and starts attacking on him in the corner until the Usos comes back in the ring to fight them all. But eventually the referees and the officials rushes in the ring to restore order, and then we go to commercial break. As that being said, then we get a backstage footage from earlier tonight. The Street Profits, Dawkins, and Montez Ford meets Ezekiel. The three of them shares a drink together before after a cavity, Chad Gable and Otis and Kevin Owens makes fun of the three of them, with Kevin Owens saying Ezekiel is lying about who he is again. Now, before I continue, why is Kevin Owens so pressed about Ezekiel not being Ezekiel or he being Elias? Why does he care so much? I mean, of course I miss Elias. Do he miss Elias too? Chad Gable accuses Ezekiel of tricking him their lie, the test, and Owens said he would expose Ezekiel. Dawkins tell Owens and Apple Academy that Ezekiel will and the Street Profits will beat them tonight, and then Owens throws Ezekiel's drink at him while running away. Well, he didn't run away, he actually walked away. Now, Alpha Academy and Kevin Owens beat the Street Profits after Owens tripped Ezekiel on the outside because he was trying to go after Kevin Owens by grabbing his hair, and Chad Gable was holding the referee. And that's when Chad Gable went for the roll-up pin to get the victory. AJ Styles is back on Raw. Kevin Patrick interviews the phenomenal AJ Styles. Styles said that he has Edge beat until Damian Priest showed up and distracted him, and then said Edge does not like the fact that he had him beat. He then proclaims that if he beats Damian tonight, he is banned from ringside at WrestleMania Backlash. If he cannot, then it will be an uphill battle. And then before the next match, we actually got a backstage segment. Sonny Deville and Adam Pearce talk about recent events, and Sonny's match with Bianca Belair. Adam Pearce mentioned that the upper manager wants to see her perform with no executive power with Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch against Liv Morgan, Asuka, and Bianca Belair. And basically, we get another Veer squash match after he put the surfer clutch on him. After the match, he continues to attack Burt Hanson, and puts him in the clutch on the ropes. Now, before Damian Priest and AJ Styles match comes out, Edge and Damian Priest comes out together. Edge might holds up a microphone and he says he said that him and Damian Priest are Judgment Day. That why most of the fans can't stand and look at themselves in the mirror and probably don't like him anymore or even despise him, which I don't. He's actually good at this character. He actually good in his role. He said it's because they despise themselves. He said that it is a miracle that the fans can even make it to the show tonight, and says that if Greensboro, North Carolina, was substantive enough to sustain a sports team, the team would be called Greensboro Lemons. Edge goes on to make fun of the fans and their nature and tells the phenomenal AJ Styles that by not staying at home, he is rushing into pain and judgment at WrestleMania Backlash. He then goes the fans into booing him even more. Edge did mention Styles' stipulation for tonight's match and then say Styles will find out the punishment for walking into the darkness with Damian Priest, and then AJ Styles interrupts him to start the match with him and Damian Priest. Now, I didn't really take much notes on this because what haven't we already seen between these two guys going at it? AJ Styles beat Damian Priest with a roll-up as pre-match stipulation. Damian Priest has been banned from ringside at WrestleMania Backlash. After the match, Edge attacked Styles. Damian Priest then attacked Styles some more, and he is go for a con chair too on AJ Styles' shoulders before Finn Balor shows up and fights both of them off. Styles and Balor then fend off Edge and Damian Priest. Now, I guess Damian Priest, he one thing I liked about this match that he did a huge choke slam and a faking slam as well. I don't know what was he trying to do, but it led to AJ Styles with the roll up. But as soon as he did the roll up for the pin, Edge did come out there and, like I said, he attacked them, and Finn Balor comes out to make the save. And then they do the Bullet Club hen gesture. Now, I honestly want to know, like, maybe at WrestleMania Backlash, they going to do a type of thing where Damian Priest ignores the stipulation and tries to attack, but Finn Balor comes and fends off Damian Priest, maybe leading up to a tag team match the next night on Raw. That could be the case. Could be the case, but I'm just happy to see them putting AJ Styles and Finn Balor together once again. Well, actually for the first time in team capacity. And then we get an almost Central Alexander and MVP backstage segment. Now, before I continue, why do they keep having Central Alexander keep trying to go back to be with MVP? The history is done. Y'all destroyed the Hurt Business. Just leave it alone. Nevertheless, Central Alexander and Shelton Benjamin could just go to NXT 2.0 and have a run there, you know, just have them run the division there, you know, they need teams down there, so why not? Nevertheless, Central Alexander speaks with MVP and Almas wanted to renew their previous business relationship. MVP said he has moved on to Almas, but Central Alexander said he is here on his own and wants to prove himself on his own against Bobby Lashley. MVP tells Central that him and Almas will be watching, and then Almas tells Central to leave. Then we cut to Miz TV. Tonight's guest is Mustafa Ali, whom the Miz demands explain his actions from last week. During the interview, Mustafa sees his music gets cut off prematurely. His microphone is not working, and Miz constantly interrupting him and making fun of him. Mustafa Ali takes Miz's microphone and says that while the Miz complains to management, he goes to the Fiends because they're the only one who's matter. Miz takes Mustafa's microphone back and tells Mustafa Ali that he will regret this before Austin Theory shows up and tells the Miz that his loss from last week has been removed from the record books due to Mustafa Ali making a mark at Miz's expenses. Mustafa Ali says that Theory and Miz talks too much and said why he wants to be United States Championship. While he wants to be the United States champion, he is willing to fight for it. Theory says that Ali will get a championship contender match tonight as per Vince McMahon. Then says it will not end for him. Theory then says he is the youngest United States champion and that Ali cannot handle all of that heat. Ali says otherwise. He feels otherwise. Theory says he can do this all day, then says the Miz deserves a chance and that Mustafa Ali will have to face him in the Miz in a handicap championship contenders match. With that being said, I actually like this a lot because it's kind of different and it gives what I thought Mustafa Ali a chance to beat the Miz with Theory not taking the L. But I guess I didn't see, Theory losing just yet before he even gets a chance to defend his championship, which is what I totally understand. So I'm not complaining about it as well. The Miz and Austin Theory beats Mustafa Ali in the WWE Championship United States Contenders match. After the match, Mustafa Ali is attacked behind from Tommaso Ciampa again. Now, Ali was outside the ropes and he was looking at Theory. Theory tried to grab his feet. He kicked him off as he tries to get in the ring. The Miz goes for the skull crushing finale for the 1, 2, 3 pinfall. And yeah, it was a good match for what it was. I like to see where they going with this, to be honest. Backstage footage from earlier tonight. Reggie and Dana Brooke confronts R-Truth for his action last week. R-Truth said he wants the WWE 24/7 championship back, but Tamina says she wants the title too. R-Truth then tries to stop Tamina, saying it is the honeymoon period. Then Dana Brooke is attacked from behind, pinned by Nikki Ash, who then wins the championship. Dana Brooke then demands that Reggie will get a championship rematch tonight if he wants to save their marriage. Dana Brooke then beats Nikki Ash to become the champion after the match. According to Raza, R-Truth, Tamina fights over who pins Dana Brooke. Then Reggie goes for a school kid pin only for Dana to kick out. Then Dana gets on top of the announcer table and tells Reggie that she wants a divorce. And then we get a backstage segment with Kevin Patrick interviewing Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch says it took bravery to say that she hit rock bottom last week, only for Asuka to come out and disrespect her. As Asuka runs away when she returned and came back at her lowest point, she said that this is her comeback story, which she would start with ending Asuka. Now we cut to Seth Rollins heading to the ring for his Rollins Appreciation Night. Rollins says that after celebrating Randy Orton's 20th anniversary last week, this should be for Seven Blade someone who deserves it himself. The lights goes out and the spotlight shines on Rollins in the middle of the ring. After the fans chant for the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes says that Cody tries to steal the spotlight and that he will prove that nobody can steal his spotlight because he is the spotlight. Rollins then says that some of the fans forgotten how good he is and how he is and the standard bearer in this industry. Then he says he loves to remind everyone and has a highlight reel of his WWE career, which was interrupted by Cody's entrance music. Cody Rhodes heads to the ring and wants to know what is going on with Seth Rollins, saying that his victory at WrestleMania is like a albatross. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. That it's like a memory that Rollins cannot shake, and that he has been nothing but professional with him. Cody then says he knows Rollins is about to cross a line that he should not cross, and then Rollins may be one of the best wrestlers in the last 20 years. He also tells Rollins that he is delusional. Rollins then says that Cody was also delusional and thought he transcended the business just like Cody did, and why Dusty wanted to be WWE champion, he was not good enough. Oh wow. Then Cody then Rollins then hits Cody with a cheap shot, which started a brawl between both men, in which Cody comes out top. With hitting Seth Rollins with a cutter off the springboard cutter on Seth Rollins, then throwing Seth's suit jacket into the crowd. I know Seth Rollins was mad about that. I know he was mad about that because that probably wasn't in the script. It probably wasn't in the script. But yeah, another thing I noticed when Cody Rhodes making his entrance down the ring, I see that he walked right into the pyro. Hopefully he was alright, and hopefully he don't have any later effects on his face or skin, because that looked like that hurt. He tried to play it off, but that pyro went straight to his face. And then we get a Bobby Lashley versus Central Alexander. During the match, Almas and MVP shows up to march Lashley, but all he does is fires up Lashley. Lashley beats Central Alexander with the spirit and goes for the hurt lock for the pin. Yeah, that was interesting for what it was. Hopefully, I'm not really sure what this match will lead to, but eventually it will lead to something bigger for Lashley, I hope. Basically, we get a Liv Morgan interview. She says that Ripley blamed her for her failure of their tag team division, and really is disappointed for herself. Then she said she would not take the blame for any of that. We also get a backstage segment. R-Truth tries to console Reggie, but Reggie said he has it all. He had it all and blew it. R-Truth then asks Reggie if he had a prenup. When Reggie asks what the prenup is, R-Truth offers his service as a divorce attorney, voice lawyer. Afterwards, we get Doudrop, who approaches Nikki Ash and asking her if she's through playing around and ready to take more things seriously. And Nikki says yes. And then we get to the main event. The main event, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and Asuka versus Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley, and Sonya Deville. Basically, this was a good match for what it was. It was fun to watch. That's one of the main things I said about Raw, why it was fun to watch in the beginning. A couple things I did like about this was Rhea Ripley and Sonya Deville going on top rope to give Bianca Belair a superplex. Liv Morgan did a suicide dive on Rhea Ripley out of nowhere and started attacking punches on her. But eventually, they also had another tag team combination. I liked it. Rhea Ripley, Asuka hit the hip attack on, I believe it was Sonya Deville, and it led into Liv Morgan hitting her double knee breaker, her finisher on her. And then she puts her in the ring. Sonya Deville takes advantage of it at the end of the match. She tries to get the upper hand, but eventually she went for the pin using the ropes for leverage with her foot on the ropes. Bianca Belair puts Sonya Deville's legs off the ropes, and then that's when she was looking at Bianca Belair. Then Liv Morgan hits her finisher. She hits her finisher for the win, and that was it to end the show, to end the go-home show for WrestleMania Backlash. It was a fun show for what it was. You know, they could have had a couple more things on there to, you know, advertise it, but it was fun for what it was. And like I said, it's I'm looking forward to SmackDown to see will they you know continue the hype for WrestleMania Backlash. But that is your post-show review. If you liked it, please hit that like button, comment what was your favorite moment of Raw, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell for post notification. Please, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Yeah, thanks again for watching. Until next time, yeah, peace.